first official Jeep video. That's right, I said video. It's actually going to be on this one, the JK. It won't involve any axle work. Unfortunately, on the way to work this morning, I had my coolant temperature sensor went out, froze to death all the way to work. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put a coolant temperature sensor in. I've got the new sensor right here. It's a little two-prong, typical sensor, you know. Then I've got a little pick 90-degree angle on it. And then I've got a 19mm socket adapted down to a 1/4 inch with a 1/4 inch long ratchet, just because I think that it's going to be more easier to get back on the sensor. The sensor is on the driver's side cylinder head on the back. So if you open the hood and you look and you see your steering column, it'll be like right below it towards the engine. I'm actually standing out here by the wheel, the steering wheel on the driver's side, and I can see the sensor. So it doesn't look like it's going to be too terrible, but we are going to find out. But go ahead, stick around, and let's see how hard this really is to do, because I don't really think it's going to be, but it might be. All right, hopefully you guys can hear me. But if you look right down in here, put my hand down in here, well, you can see my pick. This little connector right here, here's your coolant temperature sensor. It's got this little red tab. It is the first lock or secondary lock, whichever way you want to call it. It keeps this sensor locked in case one of the main one fails. We're going to see if we can get this bad boy released so that we can unplug her. Well, finally got lucky and found that tab. I can make some of this not as painful to watch. I'm not a video person. We're just trying this out for fun. So I'm kind of weird. Usually anytime you mess with a cooling system like that, like take a sensor out of the cooling system, coolant goes everywhere. I was fully prepared for it. I had a coolant dam set up to where when I got that sensor loose enough, coolant would drip out. I turn the coolant dam on, it pulls a vacuum on the system, and the theory of it is you can open the cooling system, pull the vacuum, and you won't have any coolant leak out. If you do, just a couple drops. It's the same theory and the same principle that works by when you put like a vacuum hose in the fill tube of your oil, and then you can remove your oil drain plug and replace the seal on it if it's leaking. But that was the same principle, but it didn't leak any coolant for some reason. So must be sitting up high enough in the cooling system that it didn't need it. So we'll just go ahead and take it off. Maybe we'll take it off. All right. Let's see if it actually works. How I knew that it was the coolant temperature sensor is because when I was driving, my coolant gauge was working, and then all of a sudden it wasn't working. And yes, I know the gauge is just there for show. to make people think that it's working like it's supposed to. But zero, something's wrong. Not only that, I had no heat. So when I went through your vehicle information on your dashboard, right there, it says coolant temp now is 64. Well, earlier it was just 3 lines, and I was like, yep, sensor's out. Let's put a sensor in it and call it a day. So I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10 on replacing the sensor, 5. Not bad, could be better. It's a little tight, but it's manageable. I literally use the same exact tools I showed you, 19 millimeter deep, adapted down to a 1/4 inch, and then the 90-degree pick. It took me 8 minutes to unplug the sensor, and then, you know, of course, took about 30 seconds to thread the new one in, and about a minute or 2 to plug the new sensor back in. Overall, it's about a 5. Yeah. So hopefully you learned something. You know, your coolant sensor goes out, need to replace it. It's not bad. Minimal tools, but stay tuned. We are going to try to make another video. I got to pull the transmission out on that yellow Jeep that's been in the shorts with the axle projects. I got to pull the transmission out of it, make some room so we can do some work on the frame and do some more measurements for the control arms and stuff like that. So hopefully you liked it. Also, heads up, I'm not doing fancy editing. It's going to be whatever I can do on the simple software that I have is going to be it. So if you're looking for some fancy, cool editing stuff that's going to catch your eye and go, oh wow, they know what they're doing, I'm not about that. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing, how to do it, what tricks I did, or what information or my thought process on how I'm doing and why I'm doing and what I'm doing. If you don't like it, that's fine. If you like it, that's fine. Either way, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But there's always going to be some sort of good information. And with that, until next time.